So what to do if the customer is not happy with your work? Well, that's fantastic. So that's a really good question. Okay, first of all, let's think about mitigating risk. So if you've got a bride, usually you do a trial run to make sure what works, what doesn't. Another way to mitigate risk with your customer is to ask them well in advance, before you've met them, two things. First of all, give you pictures of the looks that they're expecting from you. And second of all, give a picture of themselves, so that you can look at the picture and you can look at the inspiration photos and you can understand what their expectations really are. And you can have a look at whether those looks, if they want the Kim Kardashian look and they don't look like anything like Kim Kardashian, you can suggest, well, how about you try the Jessica Alba look, which is a softer, a feminine look, which without, as heavy contour. You can kind of gauge that in advance. And then when you meet your client, you've set more realistic expectations. You've also gauged a bit of who they are. Have a phone call with them in advance, gauge who they are on the phone. You get a chance to understand who they are. And then what you can do is when you're there, you both have a bit more expectation of what happens. If they don't like what you've done, at least you've made the effort to mitigate as much risk as possible. Always give yourself enough time to correct anything that they might not be happy with. For instance, if your smoky eye is too heavy for them, or they're not quite happy with the way the foundation is resting on their face, give yourself a good 20-25 minute window to correct any mistakes. Because if you rush your client, if you leave everything to last minute and they're not quite happy, there's no chance of going back. There's no way to rectify it. And everyone walks away feeling very rushed and very upset and not quite happy. So that's what I can give you. Plan ahead, mitigate risks, give yourself time to rectify any mistakes. Oh, do you charge for the trial run? Sarah Eileen, yes. So reiterating this from my earlier point, absolutely charging for trial runs. I feel like a broken record when I say this on my QC tutoring, is you must at all times factor in your time, because the bridal trial or any kind of trial you're doing, whether it's a special occasion or a celebrity look or even a fashion trial, that's your time. And it's often far more involved and far more labor intensive than the actual day, because you're working with lots of different colors and textures. You're going to be trying to gauge your client. You'll be using a lot of more product, different shades of foundation, different shades of eyeshadow, different shades of lipstick. All of this cuts into your kit, cuts into your time, cuts into your costs and expenses. So if you're not charging for your trial, you will be operating at a loss. So I think it's really, really important that you factor in charging for trial runs at the same price or even slightly higher than the actual day, because of all the intensity that's involved. How long prior to the client's appointment, if they cancel last minute, should you charge from the full price? Great question, Ashley. It depends. If it's a large job, say it's a bridal on a weekend and we're talking, big bucks here, and that's a lot of your time. Oh, you're very welcome, Princess Sullivan. I would say 24, 48 hours, and make sure it's stipulated in your contract ahead of time. Cancellation within full payment is to be made within 2 to 3 days. Cancellation 48 hours still need to be paid up front. And because that's going to be your time, and make sure you put that in your initial terms and conditions that you give to your clients at their initial booking, and also say it verbally to them and say, look, you do have a cancellation policy, a non-refund cancellation policy. Payment must be made in full 3 days ahead of time to me. If you cancel, you don't get your money back. So that's how I used to operate. I would say, okay, you're happy? Let's go ahead, let's book. Okay, I put together an invoice, terms and conditions, send that through, explained it to my client. They came back and said, fabulous. Okay, I expect 20% deposit by the end of the week. Otherwise, that booking slot will be given to someone else because I'm in high demand. They come back, okay, great, let's book it in. Payment made, 20%. 20% made, receipt sent, done. Then, 1 week prior, okay, just a reminder, all payments to be made in full 2 to 3 days before the actual day. Right, payments made, great. Just to remind you, this payment is non-refundable. Here's the receipt, and let's go. So These are the things, and these are the invoicing processes you need to be able to ensure that you have positive cash flow coming in and you have good cash flow management, and you're not chasing up your clients or getting disappointed if they cancel last minute.